Impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. Hey, there's brother Mike, mi hermano. Bum bum. Mike, how you doing? He gave an oh no, ladies and gentlemen. Is that my audio that's not working or his? We'll find out shortly. I'm going to guess.
Matt, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear Mike.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Please hold.
Mike will be right back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming. Here's the thing. If you guys can't hear me, please comment right now. I know you can't really see or hear. If you couldn't hear me and I'm asking you to comment, I can't hear you. It'd be wonderful if somebody was just like, yeah, this is funny. Matt's talking and nothing's happening. All right, Richard Perkins, I can hear you both. I can hear you. Thanks, Cribson. Mike's back. Everybody said they could hear you, Mike.
Oh, man, I couldn't hear anything. All right, I'm back.
Perfect. Well, that kind of killed. I wanted to open this up with one of our celebratory, jumping in the air. Mike, this is you got to watch last night.
I jumped out of my
8-3.
seat like 10 times, and I could hear the lady behind me saying, "Does he have to get up for every goal?" Yeah, I'm going to do it again.
Come on. What was your favorite goal last night, Mike?
My favorite one was the one where Kane only got credit for an assist, but really he should have got a credit for a goal because he is the pinball wizard. The way he caromed that in was just perfect. I met not since maybe Pavel Datsyuk. I know that it's hard to bring up such a cherished name in front of someone like yourself, but
yeah.
That's what it looks like. Like his playmaking, he's not even fast. Matt, I'm glad that Undertaker hip is working, but he is not a fast player, but he's just so quick in in a phone booth. He's phone booth quick.
Yeah.
And he makes so many intelligent moves out there. It brings a smile to your face every single time he touches the puck.
Look at the way that he handles this puck back from Larkin. Like, this is so many people right now are challenging the and everybody, if you're listening to the podcast, just head on over to the YouTube. We're watching the Dylan Larkin, DeBrincat, Kane 3-on-2 break. But watch the way he takes this puck from Dylan Larkin. Like, this is what you're talking about. Like, we're making the argument that there's less attempts, right? And every analytics person is trying to figure out how are there less attempts on net, but the Red Wings can't find a way to lose. And we've talked about it. It's taking advantage of those attempts that you get, and that's hard to quantify. So it's creating quite the discourse from the analytics field. But like, this is what you're talking about. You have a really smart hockey player, and to compare him to Pavel Datsyuk is no joke. And we don't take that lightly on this show. But the way that he takes this puck, and sure, he could have taken it. Nobody can see my mouse, but he could have taken it out front. That's kind of where the pass was going. But he uses his hips, turns his legs out because he knows how and what that next play should be. Yeah. And it's such a simple next move, but it's what gives him the ability to get the puck back over to Larkin, who is now one of two Red Wings that are behind the defenseman, and allowing Dylan Larkin to get the puck cross ice to DeBrincat. Now, we've said it a million times on the show. The Red Wings seem to be living and dying with the cross ice passes. So when those aren't there, that's when you get like a game against Chicago where it feels like, how are we losing to Chicago late in the third period? And thank God DeBrincat bounced one in off of Mrazek there, but
sure. Yeah. No, Matt, what completely unlocks this team? What completely unlocks his team is Lucas Raymond, because he's so good. He's carrying the entire second line. It doesn't really matter who else is out there. He makes it possible for Lalone to put Kane, DeBrincat, and Larkin on a mega, Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, plus another Macho Man, Mega Powers line. And Lucas is so good. He's still creating offense basically by himself. God bless Comfer and Big Rez, who is 6'6" tall. But yeah, Raymond, he was filthy yesterday. Like he looked like he and Kane were like having an all-star contest because they both had so many incredible plays.
I think Lucas is a listener to the pod because he went, "Oh my God, I forgot I was in a contract here. All of the skill they were talking about, I got to unload and produce."
Yeah.
But
his production's getting up there too now. Isn't he at 51 points?
Yeah, another 3 points. You guys were laughing at me last week. You were like, "Nah, it's not going to get above 6." I'm telling you guys. Lalone made the comment in his press conference today, like they have this ability now to run these 2 different power play lines. They can spread out the offense. He said, like, this is very unique for a hockey team to be able to do what the Red Wings can do with their roster. And you're right. It's driven right now by the success of Lucas Raymond. You bring in DeBrincat, you bring in Patrick Kane. We kind of had the conversations before Kane was even aboard where it was like, okay, this is the part that makes sense. But one of the final pieces, we can even look back to, maybe even go back to December. It wasn't passing the eyeball test, right? Like Lucas Raymond is at a whole nother level right now. And the ability to roll like a legit top 6 right now is really making the difference. And this is when you get to finally play these games where you look at a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning and you're always trying to figure out, like, all right, well, you spread out, the offense, and I'm talking about Tampa Bay Lightning Stanley Cup years, not now. You spread out the offense and you're like, man, how are they able to have Stamkos and Braden Point, and they've got Kucherov gets to play with either one of those guys. And now you get to look at, and of course I'm talking about 2 different centers right there, but now you get to look at on the Red Wings side, you've got 2. I'll say, I mean, no problem right now. You have one of the best wingers to ever touch the puck. And sure, maybe it's like 1 percentage point slower, but now you've got 2 legit all-stars on the wing. Maybe if you want to say 3, we'll just go ahead and say everybody on that first line and then throw in Lucas. It's just, this is fun, but we got to get to
I do want to touch on it. I did want to hit a few comments because Blake is going hot saying, hit the like button, sheep. I like it a lot.
Yeah, guys, if you could hit the like button, we really appreciate that.
A couple other comments in here too. Crimson. Yeah, watching that in person, that was rough. Moment of silence for Cider's nuts. Your sacrifice will be remembered. R.I.P. At least they'll save money on birth control, right? Silver lining. It's pretty nice.
He seems to have a good relationship with DeBrincat and Kane's kids. So,
and he came out immediately after that. I mean, back on the ice, not out of the game. He took one right in the tenders, hit the bench for maybe 10 seconds, and then he was back out there. Justin Field, 63. How's it going? Saying, I love this team. And saying the Wings are the real deal. They certainly look like it. It didn't feel fluky. I know that we talk about hockey style. And, was it 1 or 2 years ago, we gave Lalone a lot of grief for playing a really boring style, but he was kind of playing the hand he was dealt. Well, we're going to just limit chances because we didn't have any scorers, right? Then last year we had a couple more, then we would get burned and lose games like 6-5. But Matt, attending that game yesterday, it really felt like, dare I say, now don't freak out because don't think about their playoff performances. Think about the regular seasons. We look like the Maple Leafs yesterday. Like, even when the Capitals got a goal, even when they got a second goal, did they almost get a third one? It just felt like it doesn't matter. This is an offensive buzzsaw. We're going to come back and get revenge and probably get 1 or 2 more goals, at least, to teach you a lesson about, hurting poor Alex Lyon's feelings. So it was so up and down and fun. It looked like, the Maple Leafs when they were cooking a couple games ago.
I would toss in there too. Like, Lalone was thrown out there during his presser today. Like, he's calling that out too, but
Yeah. Sorry, Jared. Before I want to hear from you, but Jared,
yeah,
I was thinking the same thing at the game that Mike is not the curse. It's when Matt and Mike are at the game.
yeah.
Because I got a really good winning streak with me and my lady, and I was
Yeah,
like,
same with me and Michelle too.
Matt, with all due respect, I was like, I'm glad Matt's not here. So sorry, you were saying.
Well, Alone was calling that out too, and I did like
He was calling out you not being there. It's pretty cool.
I know. It was, well, I listened to Red Wings Rant, and the boys said that they were going to split up, and one of them would go and one wouldn't. So I feel pretty good about tonight. I don't know how that was. That did that work? Did that alone work?
Bit of that you got to throw in there too. There's two brothers on that Red Wing Rant show, and we made sure the one we like was there, and so we put up a good fight. Tried to set a career high in goals for the Detroit Red Wings. We came up a little short, about 7 goals short, but we'll get them next time. And Matt, please stay away.
You need more like Danny DeVito Penguin, like just a little bit. Like
he doesn't really though. He's more of a G. Collie shucks. He's shush.
Sharon, Mike's is better. What I was going to say was that he was talking today in his presser, like bringing up, like you said, like another goal would hit the board. He did bring it up, though, as like, we kind of, they took advantage of a couple of weak spots for us, right? Like he was saying, like we fell off a little bit, and it was, it's something to me that I've always enjoyed in my coaches is that you can win a game 8-3, but your coach is still looking at it and going like, whoa. You boys better clear up those 3 goals next time. Because it's kind of like he doesn't have the intensity of Dan Campbell. We know that, but it's being real with it, and how many weeks ago were we talking about he was actually going into press conferences saying we're overachieving right now. This isn't, I mean, and that's very different from Dan Campbell, by the way, where Dan Campbell's like, hey, we know this is who we thought we were. We were going to the Super Bowl this year. But some realism is really going to help this team out too. Cause I mean, you can hear it with the boys that it's more about getting, Alex Lyon saying today, like, I don't want to talk about playoffs. We have a ton of games to go. Nothing's complete. And all that realism is going to carry a little bit better through an 82 game season compared to the 17 game season in the NFL. So I think Newsy right now is perfect for this group and for a guy like Alex Lyon, who even said today, like, nope, we see that there's weaknesses. We see that there's still work to do. Sure. But again, all of those call outs today from Newsy coming on a night where how many times have I made fun of the Wings and their hockey stat cards not being able to jump up above 4, and it's Lucas Raymond, Mike, that does it for us.
And
production wise.
I just totally lost my train of thought.
Hey, Aaron's going to be at the game on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, that's the big
bring us some good luck.
Is that Florida?
Yeah, we have Islanders tomorrow, I think, if you're listening to the podcast tonight.
And then Benjamin Kaiser. I don't know if we've heard from you. How you doing, Ben?
Oh, yeah, I like what he said too.
And maybe the ladies are the key. Send them by themselves. Yeah, they are better looking for sure. So it'll inspire the boys.
I'm gonna put a guess out there with my last 2 experiences with Michelle that would actually be the more enjoyable experience for her at a Red Wings game. That's shade on myself. No shade on Michelle. That's shade on myself.
One thing I did want to touch on with as far as improvement goes, because we have had the Red Wings have some games where they were absolutely incredible for a period. So was it the San Jose Sharks game where we up 5-0, or was it 5-1? And then they stormed all the way back, tied it, and we lost 6-5.
Let's call it 5-0. Who cares?
And
somebody will care. Somebody will comment.
It felt like stylistically the Red Wings took that big lead, and then they're like, well, we'll just kind of sit back, play a little D, and we'll just try to limit what happens. And that is not the strength of this team. I don't think they should feel ashamed or embarrassed that we have a lot of skilled, gifted goal scorers on this team, like playmaking guys. Why don't we just keep trying to score, and our defense will be more offense? And it felt like this team sat and watched that San Jose Shark game before they played this game and said, if they score one goddamn goal, we're putting up an 8-bomb tonight. And then lo and behold, they put in an 8-bomb. So it kind of feels like this team is, just accepting reality. And it's now their identity. Let's score goals.
I'm going to give a shout out to, I don't know if he's a listener, but he's been a guest on the show, Devin Little, who put out there on Twitter. The 8 was in honor of Alexander Ovechkin making the rounds. Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't that sweet? I thought that was a really good call out by Devin. So things are gravy right now. I think to add to the gravy, we have, again, I'm pulling up Tankathon here to show the strength of schedule. What's left? Oh, that's smart. Yeah. When you manipulate your webpage, Tankathon, make sure your ads cover up your goddamn tables. Okay, there we go. All right. So,
Jared, make sure you screen grab all Matt's tabs up there.
What do I have? Twitter, Cap Friendly. For that Virgin, that's Virgin Mobile.
Virgin for virgins that walk.
This is the dynamics of innovation.
Innovating
healthy drink maker by Brands launches its Bevolution. Yeah, aren't you bummed that you pointed this out? There's a bunch of Harvard business.
Oh, so Matt set articles. He knew this was coming. He set up this Harvard business portfolio up here.
Lemon garlic grilled chicken wings recipe.
Matt, can you slide these over to the real bookmarks so you see what you're actually doing in your free time? We're just kidding. We don't want to see that. All right, let's get into the schedule here.
Somebody will see that later. Somebody will get a screen. It's on YouTube now, so somebody can get a screenshot of what those are.
It's out there in the world.
Big old butts.
Matt, is this up to date?
This is. I pulled it. This is fresh.
You promise?
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's only three teams in the East that have an easier schedule than the Red Wings to end the season. Also, I wanted to call out too. Look at Toronto's toughest opponents. Look at Florida's toughest opponents. That now
Red
says,
Wings, baby.
Trouble.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah.
The wheel is trouble. We're coming.
That's actually a nice little Easter egg on these. Yeah, I mean, like I said, to add the gravy on top, I know Tampa, like we have the numbers on Tampa right now. We are on top of Tampa in the standings. And they are one of the 3 teams that has an easier schedule to end the season. But Tampa just looks like such a pile of dog shit right now. I'm not even worried about them.
I didn't know that Sergachev was there. I didn't know Sergachev was there. Rasmussen.
Yeah, live and die.
That's it. White flag. We're done.
Now, yeah, again, just to kind of, for anybody just listening on the podcast, again, looking at these strength of schedule rankings, we just kind of, like this is really going to set us up here where our toughest competition, right? I would say to the end of the season, I think absolutely the Islanders. I'm still including the Flyers, and I tried to explain it last week, where it's like, if another team jumps up in the wild card in that Metro division, they're going to knock the Flyers down outside even the wild card. So there's that possibility. So you got to keep the Flyers in mind. And then, of course, Pittsburgh. We don't have to worry about Columbus. Rangers, we could throw them in there. Florida, we don't have to worry about. New Jersey, again, they have a pretty tough schedule to end the season. One we want to worry about. Toronto, 5th hardest schedule to end the season. And we are 2 points behind. Toronto has a game in hand. For all intents and purposes, we could say 4 points behind. But
yeah, man, I mean that Detroit-Toronto matchup, man, that's a pretty gargantuan game.
That's going to be huge. Washington, we took down again to get those wins over Washington too is huge. If it comes down to that, What if I don't know? Boston's iffy because if you look at the standings, I think Boston only has like one more win than us, but they lose a lot in overtime. So it's something. I don't know. Maybe we could keep an eye on Boston. I just it's so funny. Like I look at Florida, I'm like nah, but Boston I still feel like is attainable, even though they're both at the same level in the standings. And you know the last two with the hardest schedule remaining, poor Montreal and Buffalo. Who are, you know, they're not going anywhere this year. So yeah, it's just it's right now feeling good. The gravy on top is that we have an easier schedule to end the season. I mean, you're talking games with Columbus, 2 against Arizona, 2 against Montreal. You've got 3 Buffalo games, which we have, you know, we've had some struggles with Buffalo. So I don't necessarily want to call those easy, but and then we've got 2 with the Islanders. Who we've got them coming up tomorrow, but I'm still, you know what? Chalking it up. Easy game. That is one of your easier opponents. It's going to mean a ton to the Islanders, still a ton to us, but I'm chalking it up. We're going to lose
I think
now, but
the one thing is I do appreciate the effort we're putting into saying, hey, these are games that are a little bit more winnable based on the skill level of the other team versus what we have. But man, I do like having tests, and like playing that Colorado game. You know, that was one of the best games, like start to finish, I've watched in a while. I mean, I had a lot of fun at the Washington game, but it was, you know, it was 8-3. You know, we kind of walked around, did a lap. We tried to buy those sauna clothes, which were impossible. The only friend of mine who went to the game, she stood in line for basically the duration of the hockey game to finally buy something halfway through the third period, Matt. So I'm just saying, I had a blast at the Washington game, but I wouldn't mind some more of these tests. So that's why I'm kind of excited for Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I have way too much confidence right now. Like way too much confidence, and it scares me because whenever I got really confident last year, then we'd face Ottawa for 2 straight games, and it would hit hard. Do you remember like a year ago we got goalied by Vasilevsky, and we all just kind of walked away, and we were like, you know what? You play a game like that, but you lose. Like it's okay. And I think that was when we got into the, you know, hard conversation of like, do moral victories still matter? And a lot of people were saying, yes, they still matter. We made the argument, no, but it was like, if you play that game every night, you're going to win. And then the Red Wings played, they played very much the opposite for 2 straight games. That was before this season, that was my most confident I've felt with Detroit and Detroit hockey in like 5-6 years. We're here again. I think the one thing that's scaring me most right now is how confident I am.
No.
Does anybody else have that worry?
I think I actually feel really good. And this is exactly what I was hoping we would get. And I said that if we could make February count and go 500, maybe we could still be buyers. And the Red Wings said, no, we'll just win like all of them. How about that? So yeah, we're looking at March 8th, which is just wow, is that 2 Fridays away?
Yep. So
wow, we're almost there.
Not this Friday, but next we'll be like you said, Mike. You wanted to? Should we commit to that? We'll try and take a half day or something and watch everything go down.
And I did want to throw in a few comments too, because like Guentzel was saying, active chat today.
Yeah.
So people are already pretty confident about this team. They're ready to start building for the future. Blake saying, I want to see which defenseman Stevie's going to snag. And then
I mean,
also saying, got to trade Ghost. Stock has to be pretty high right now. Give that money to Kane. Yeah, it's almost like Kane's playing too well, and it's like all these pie in the sky dreams Matt and I had for picking up guys. It's like, shit, now we're gonna have to pay Kane like $7-8 million.
Yep. Benjamin Kaiser throws out there, let's not anger the hockey gods, please. So there is too much confidence going around. I like Dan B, boys are in the playoffs. The only thing to be determined is can they finish in the top 3. So there now, Dan B coming in with a level of confidence that there's only one conversation to be had at this point. Dan, you were scaring the crap out of me. Guentzel, I just know who I don't want to play in the playoffs. Lol. Again, you guys in your level of confidence, you're already saying who you don't want to play, and you're picking who you do. Jared throwing out there, Florida? Question mark. Guentzel with a smiley face. I gotta say, I'm right there with you. I have been playing that game today. I've been going through the standings and kind of, do we want to hit up the Metro, or do we want do we want to make? I mean, think about how terrifying that would be with Florida and our how difficult it's been for us just to get over in Florida. Like, don't even think about how Florida has been dominating. And the beast, the bear has been awoken of Matthew Tkachuk. Don't even concern yourself with that and how he's playing against the rest of the league. Just think about how difficult it's been for the Wings to get a win over Florida these last few years. Like, just that alone is scaring the poop out of me.
Yeah, the Red Wings are gonna have this kind of plucky identity in the playoffs, though, because it's like we haven't been in the playoffs in years. And so there's nothing to lose. There's no stakes where these other teams are like, this is some make or break stuff for us. I think a good example is Vancouver, who might have to blow it up and trade Elias Pettersson to the Red Wings for a host of prospects, first round picks. But I just like getting Matt going and making him smile there. But
it makes me happy.
I know. But yeah, it does feel like this team, like as compared to last year, where it was like, oh man, we're just clinging to that seed. We're right there. Oh no, we're just like 4 points out. Man, we're just 8 points out. We're just I want to kill myself. Where this year it feels like I think there's just a lot more depth. So I don't, obviously hockey gods could come in and, injure the entire team, but I feel like they have a sustainable style. And they have the guys to do it, and they still have room to add pieces in 2 weeks. So it looks pretty good.
Yeah, one thing we hadn't taken a look at yet was the Atlantic Division standings. And again, to go back to, do you care about Boston and Florida and what their strength of schedule is? It's a 10-point difference with 22, 23 games to go. With us in Boston, they lose a lot in overtime. I did want to ask everyone too, because everyone knows I've brought up Puck Soup before. I listen to every episode. They brought up how many times the Red Wings win in overtime and how that sort of like hides the blemishes, right? Like they could just as easily be losing in overtime. Is that not like the opposite conversation we've been having for years? Hasn't the conversation always been more on the Boston side? Like you always lose in overtime, but you get those extra loser points, as opposed to you win the game and you turn 1 point into 2? Am I crazy? Or did Puck Soup just make something up so that they could sit on their throne of, see, the Red Wings do stink?
So, I mean, would you rather have the 5-on-5 numbers of Florida or the Red Wings? Probably Florida, right?
Right, yeah, Florida. But Florida's kicking ass.
Are the playoff overtimes going to play like the regular season overtimes? No. But do they help exemplify some of the strengths of this team, which is creative, individual playmaking, and stick handling? Yes. So I don't think it's quite, the gloom and doom that they're putting it out to be. Yeah, I mean, you can be a little concerned about, how they're going to win games against, maybe like a Florida, like win a whole series against Florida, but I still think as long as that's not their first round matchup, I feel pretty good that they can either win a first rounder or give somebody a real scare.
Yeah, like, well, the thing for me is just that you have a team that can carry almost any opponent. Like if you're going to say they go into a lot of overtime games, you can carry almost any opponent in a league that, is balanced. You can carry almost any opponent into the third period and have a chance to win it. I like that's I don't know. I rant a lot about Red Wings fans being irresponsible sometimes, and I'm just like, whoa, 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 let's calm down. But this is the one that got me, and I was like, what are we doing? Complaining
Yeah.
about how many times the Red Wings win in overtime? It's crunch time. Now it's do or die. And the team that overcomes and wins is the one that we're complaining about? No, it's Boston, who's actually 34 and what's the math? 26. Like they're not 34 and 12. They've lost 26 times, just like us.
Yeah.
They have one more win than us. I don't know.
Yeah, they've done a good job of, squeaking together and keeping it close. Do we have concerns about the Red Wings, in a tight defensive series? Yeah. That's why I, turned to my lady yesterday and I said, I know that the Capitals aren't very good, but I like playing them because it's a real up and down style. So I think best case scenario for the Red Wings, it's not necessarily which team. I mean, please not Florida, but a team that does like to go up and down the ice and kind of take a few more chances to get goals. I think that would be the ideal scenario for us.
No, yeah, I think I definitely agree with you there. I'm the vibes wise, I'm scared of Florida. That's where a lot of my hesitations come from. The hockey gods are also giving me pause. I don't want to say anything bad about anybody. I think every team in the NHL is great, and I don't want to see any of them. And I think we're guaranteed to lose, hockey gods.
Good reverse psychology. The gods will never notice, man. I like it. No, it's it's like every sport. It's not necessarily, did the better team win? It's usually about the matchup. So yeah. I just hope that we get a chance to kind of showcase our offense. I hope that it's not something where we kind of have to be on our heels and then the other team might get a 1-goal lead and they just, play really tight defensively. That's not usually a recipe for a Red Wing victory. I mean, excusing
I could challenge
the
that
Colorado game, but Colorado also played their backup goaltender that game.
True. I could challenge that and say like a really tight game was the one against Chicago. Like Chicago was having a special night and they wanted to get a win.
That's an inferior team.
It is. But you play a tight game, So
let's hit a few comments. I know we got to get the business in there too, because we had some folks jump in, and I had to touch on Guentzel saying the only stat I care to see is goal differential. My man, Guentzel, me and you, brother. Look at that beautiful plus 27.
That was the other measure where we were always like, okay, you were in the playoff hunt, but how many teams were like in the negative or like Tampa's a plus one? Tampa's a plus one. We're a plus 27.
Yeah.
We're plus 27.
Like last year was smoke and mirrors when we were like -1 or like just -3. We're right there by the points. And then the goal differential, kind of brought us back down to earth.
Yeah.
We had a couple in there. Newsy Grew, what's up from Tweet Town?
What's up, Newsy Grew?
Corey, how you doing, bud? Yeah, I think you were here last week. Hope you're doing well. Said only if we could have grabbed a couple more points in December. Yeah. I mean, if we didn't completely crater in December and our goaltending didn't get hurt and Larkin didn't get hurt and, Kane was Kane, probably could have been a different story in the standings, right? But Matt and I really romanticize this sport, and I really think the narrative, it's almost like we needed December so that we could really feel it in January and February. And then also kind of make it where we have an understanding of what to look for come the trade deadline. But Corey, yeah, if only December wasn't so bad, we would be probably above Toronto at this juncture.
Couple throws of who everybody wants in the first round. Newsy Grew threw out there the question, who do you guys want? He says Boston. Dan B goes, Boston is slow. I want them. Not Carolina or New York. That's interesting because that's going to have to play out like by either us taking over Toronto or us taking, like, it does feel like Florida's just going to go on a roll right now and just kind of cruise past and take the East. So at that point, I mean, if you want to avoid Carolina or the Rangers, you've kind of got one option at that point. Somebody else threw out there a pick on Boston as well. Jim Johnson.
I gotta say the Rangers, Matt, are probably my number 2 team. I don't really want to play. Florida is far and away number 1 because it's going to be Big Rass and nobody else. But the Rangers, I just don't really want to play Shesterkin in the playoffs.
It'd be really interesting, like in a 7-game series, to see us against Carolina, because Carolina notoriously owns the puck, but they've never had like that scorer, right? Like how we are just top to bottom. We have these guys that take advantage of the chances they're getting. And boom, we have the second highest shooting percentage in the league. It'd be really interesting to see like what that kind of game turns into. Does Carolina have to limit us to like 12 chances in the whole game for them to get the win, and every game ends 1-0? That would be fun to watch. Like just two offenses that this year for the Wings and then historically for Carolina would just be so opposite. New York, I feel like those games could get out of hand. Those could be some high scoring games, in my opinion. But yeah,
out of hand, Matt. Shane Barry, how you doing, Shane? I don't know if we've seen Shane before. Hope you're doing well too, man. Saying playoff cider will be a monster. Yeah, if I'm gonna make a short list of big meaty men slapping meat on behalf of your beloved Detroit Red Wings, it's Big Rass and probably cider. So if we did end up getting the roughest draw possible and we did play Florida, I agree. It'd probably be cider and Rass.
That's an episode. I think I can't wait to officially get to that point so we could start having those conversations, like really like going top to bottom in this roster and like, okay, who's gonna do this right for us? Who's gonna be that superstar that becomes like that huge playoff performer? Who it was Bickle, right? For Chicago, I felt like always like got way overpaid, was an absolute nothing in regular seasons, but in the playoffs, man, that guy really turned it on. In those, those monster playoff years for Chicago. That's where I want that guy. I want that problem. I want to see who that problem's going to be for us. Hopefully it is Rass, since we already paid him for 4 years. But, I want to see who that guy we're going to be like, oh, we can't let him go. He's awesome in the playoffs. And then, turns into a big problem later.
I did have a few more comments in there. Just Jared agreed December was a wake-up call. And then, Reimer has been playing south lately. Just really makes everything a lot easier for everybody. And then he mentioned the 5-0 shutout, stealing one from Chicago. And Matt, somebody I don't know if we've heard from in a while, Schlarky, saying they'd like to play the Rangers. And then just followed up by Carolina plays too good defensively. Rangers will give us some chances. I don't think you're wrong. I just, Igor in the playoffs, I'm not excited to see. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough matchup either way.
Shade thrown out there. Raymond will step it up too. What if Lucas Raymond turns into like Nikita Kucherov when they were winning cups? Oh my God. Just every night scoring a goal, laughing in Montreal, or at Montreal, I should say, since they were doing the COVID thing. But
yeah.
Oh my God.
That's what Guentzel was saying. Oh God, imagine Ray goes off in the playoffs. Then I'll have to pay him bank.
Oh God. I'm telling you guys, I made that statement. I was like, you guys are going to be feeling lucky at $6 million by the end of this season. Oh man, is he looking good right now? Okay. A little bit of business. We'll be right back. And then we are going to talk my favorite subject.
Oh, no.
The action never ends at DraftKings Sportsbook, especially coming up this spring. With tons of ways to bet on all your favorite sports, you can fuel your fandom and feel the heat of the season like never before. Plus, right now at DraftKings Sportsbook, we're giving new customers a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's right, make your first bet up to $1,000, and if it doesn't win, you'll get another shot at cash later. You can throw down on all the major action for baseball, golf, MMA, and more. Plus, with same-game parlays, spreads, money lines, over-unders, and props, your betting options feel endless. Red Wings have some pretty tough games coming up. Who knows? Maybe that just means the odds will be that much tighter. And if you put some money down on your favorite Red Wings team to win, which I'm sure you'd all agree, maybe things could go your way. Best of all, DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw with your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code THPN. Make your first deposit and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code THPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
My favorite roasts were Jared, stop yelling at us, Matt. And then Blake saying fast forward. Blake, you can't fast forward the live show. You got to listen tomorrow on Spotify. And you can fast forward. Just like I do on every ad on my podcast I listen to.
We're not supposed to tell everybody to do that right after. That's when DraftKings is still listening to make sure we're doing it right.
We're just kidding.
We got some easy ones here. Mike Sebastian Cossa, your player of the week. 2-0 and shutout. Actually, we had forgive me here. I'm terrible with memories ever since I got hit in the head a while back. But yeah, I mean, what I can remember, somebody help me out in the chat here. Who are the Griffins playing? But basically a 19-game winning streak against the Griffins, I think 14, 15-game point streak. And Sebastian Cossa comes in and shuts the goddamn door, helping him win that player of the week. Good things. Somebody pointed out, like
Milwaukee.
There you go. Yeah. Good things.
The Admirals.
And pointed out a year ago, we saw this same sort of, I don't know if we want to say streak, if we want to say just like clear improvement of the game. Same thing we saw in the ECHL, ending the season, just like going, and right now, AHL. It kind of is feeling like Cosa's getting it. He's getting through January, and now at this point, he's looking like a shutdown goaltender. It was we're probably less than a month removed from me saying like, get rid of Cossa. Let's just lean on Trey Augustine and see where that goes. But that was sort of tongue in cheek, but feels pretty good right now to have somebody that you were so confident in, just me speaking, of course, in Trey Augustine, to now see Sebastian Cossa kind of going 2 seasons in a row here, upgrading leagues and improving his game. That's huge. That's huge for us.
This is the best time for a prospect to do well, right before the deadline, and increase that value, baby. Bring home EP40. Woo!
Woo! Oh, and Dan B calling out one of the best parts of this too is Cossa versus Wallstedt.
Dan B, good call.
Yes, huge.
Iserman is glued to that game, going, God damn it!
Griffin's up 2-1. Good news there. Maybe some future good news, Mike. Mike, my absolute favorite topic to talk about.
Wait
every year.
Before we go into this for 12 hours, weren't you gonna bring in some real news? Because this is not happening. First of all, as much as it would make all of our hearts soar with joy. What is this crap? The Red Wings getting the first quote jersey patch partner that the team will announce on Thursday. Matt, the first one to break this news, we'll give it to Brad Galley. The second person to actually see this tweet and get insider viewership of this patch, famed comedian Richard Lewis, who just couldn't take it anymore, and he passed away, Matt. I'm sorry. Richard Lewis, he said, not on this.
You're
I'm not gonna.
terrible.
I'm not gonna be part of this world where the Red Wings put garbage on those beautiful jerseys. I'm out. And Richard Lewis, we love you on Curb. Loved your stand up. We're gonna miss you, and we understand not wanting to see the patch.
He legit might laugh at that joke if he was a Red Wings fan.
He would appreciate it.
Rest in peace, Richard Lewis. Yes. That was horrible. To learn. I hope he got in there for that last Curb season. He had to have. What am I talking about?
Yeah, he was in there.
That's all he was waiting for.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet. Okay. Anyway, back to the other heartbreaking matter. A patch partner, Mike. We knew it was coming. Does it make it any easier to stomach? I like that too. You know what? Dan B's right. Call it a jersey ad. This patch partner trying to, let's have a couple of P's will make it sound nice and fun and round and bouncy. Pa 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 pa. But I want to know who it is before we really complain, because this could go. What if it was just like Chase Bank? Like what?
If it is Rocket or UWM, I am going to be livid.
Rocket is red. It'll totally work. I was telling everybody in the Discord, which, by the way, everybody join the Discord. I have to find a way to let me see if I can cue this up while I'm talking. I'll pull up the Discord and share the link here. But talking about it in the Discord, it'll totally disappear. It'll be great. Go with Rocket Mortgage.
Maybe they can do like, remember like when LeBron was on the Heat and he coerced the team into doing black on black script. Like maybe if Rocket does like a red on red, so you can barely even see it. Maybe it'll be a little more tolerable. But how I did actually announce the partner yet. Yeah, I don't understand. Shouldn't we already know based on like, public stock information, who like the likelihood of who it is?
That is kind of
it's not like Happy's Pizza, right?
I feel like if it was my place of business, like I would know right now. I feel like they would tell us like, hey, you guys make sure you've got your computers tuned in at 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow and watch the press conference, or they'd actually, what they would do? We'd all be invited to like LCA to like go watch the unveiling so that there'd be somebody there going like, woo!
Can I throw in a few comments too?
Yeah.
Crimson saying, better be Red Wings shoes. Ooh, I like that one a lot.
I like that. That'd be a good save, right?
Dan B saying, of course they waited until team got successful. Smiley face of a clown. I like that a lot. Guentzel, their first, it better be fucking their last. Guentzel, hope you're buckled in. It's going to be fucking NASCAR on ice. You're going to throw up blood.
If you buy a Leafs jersey on coolhockey.com, does it say milk on it? Doesn't say milk on it, right? No. Yeah. I mean, look, it's just while you're watching TV, right? Like, you're not going to buy a jersey and it's going to say Rocket Mortgage on it.
Yeah.
It's still...
I got to say, we got 3 comments cooking in a row. B Retro Gamer, who we have not heard from in a long time.
Oh, God.
Well, saying Sam Bernstein. Yeah, let's cook it up, baby.
Oh, baby.
I'm going to skip one and come back to it because it's going to make our hearts swell with joy. Because Crimson said, knowing our luck, it's going to be go, Daddy. Oh, God. And then Jim Johnson quoting Blake, saying a Red Wing Rant patch. Oh, that brings a tear to my eye. I'm going to cry.
That's so cute.
Thank you, guys.
That's my pick. Yeah. Wouldn't that be...
Rant? Yeah.
Wouldn't that be like if we had won the lottery, we just hadn't told anybody?
Like when they do those contests where like little kids can design like the city mascot,
Yeah.
And somehow with 30 votes instead of everyone else tied with 1, Red Wings Rant squeaks in.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's what they should have done. They should have let us vote on who would be their partner.
Ooh, Guentzel reminding us this is why I hate Euro jerseys.
Yeah. If you buy a Euro jersey, are they? I mean, like if you get like a European football jersey, it says like Qatar Airways on it. Does a hockey jersey do that too? Right? Am I wrong?
I don't know.
Like soccer jerseys is what I meant.
I hope you guys are collecting Red Wing jerseys now in case that is this like what's going to happen, because otherwise it's going to be like collecting Pokemon cards and like, yeah, there's shiny Charizards, but you want the old shiny Charizard, you know, like the OG with all the ads on it.
I have a tiny collection of blank jerseys right now. You're aware of this, Mike.
Yes.
Got my I actually found out one of my bookmarks is the cool hockey, make your own jersey. You got to mail it in. I'm waiting until some more contracts get signed. I love RAS, but that wasn't the one I was waiting for.
You know what would be a good idea on the jerseys? DraftKings.
Oh boy. I did. Jared called out too, like, because I think some people in the Discord were saying like Little Caesars Pizza, but I think they want to make money on this deal, so probably won't be Little Caesars.
Will it be MeUndies?
Well, I was gonna say it would just be interesting with Motor City Casino if they would do DraftKings, because you look at it as like, well, now we're getting casino money and online, or is it seen as a competitor? Like that's where it gets kind of interesting.
If it's, I guess it'll be tolerable as long there has to be some contingency in the contract that it's like, dude, we're not having like an orange, blue, and black patch on here. You have to do something in red and white, or we're not doing it, right?
It's gotta, yeah. Like that's where Toronto's milk is just a white splash on their jersey. Now, Jim, I do agree with Jared that they're not going to waste this patch on Little Caesars, but Jim's right. There's nothing stopping them from putting a Little Caesars patch on these jerseys. Let's get rid of that wheel and just make it a pizza. And you know what? For all you guys that are scoffing at it right now, or like you're harumphing, that would be the most badass jersey. You know what? They should do that
wait,
one night.
So
one night.
The wheel is like a full round pizza, and then it's the wing. Is it all the ingredients flying off on a Little Caesars delivery?
I was just picturing the wing, but you just made it better. I mean, but it can't just be like, it's got to look like a Ninja Turtles cartoon pizza. Like it's got to be like dripping with cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, do Little Caesars night. Do a one, they wear it, in their practice round or whatever. That jersey would sell like nobody's business. If you guys knew it wasn't going to be the forever Red Wing, you guys know you'd all be, oh my God, I need that Red Wing pizza jersey.
If it wasn't like the permanent jersey and like for one night only, Little Caesars is making a specialty, big RAS, big slice, deep dish Red Wing jersey with, cheese and pepperonis and mushrooms flying off the back. Matt, get on it.
Call up Paramount. They have their new Ninja Turtle cartoon coming out this summer. Call up Paramount. You gotta, they're gonna go through the summer months, but they want people to still stay interested.
Yeah.
Exhibition season.
Matt,
one of those games. Roll out the Little Caesars, or the make Little Caesars like the official pizza of the Ninja Turtles. And then
important distinction here from Retro Gamer. Is this for every game? It sounds like it's for every game going forward.
The pizza jersey?
No, the patch.
Oh, pizza jersey is just one special night, you guys. But yeah, the new patch we're gonna find out about tomorrow is.
It sounds pretty permanent.
Yeah. The patch will be forever. I imagine the company will change. Probably over a few years. Yeah, because you're going to raise the prices, right? I wonder how hard it's going to be to get those patches on a Fanatics jersey. I wonder if that's part of this. Huh. Iron on. Yeah, no problem. They're easier to make now. Makes sense. Okay. Just thought about that.
The consensus is we all hate it.
Yeah. Oh, did we think anything else was going to happen? I don't know. I'm glad that we turned it into a positive conversation. Red Wings pizza jersey has to happen next season. All right,
Not to
back
be
to the
confused, not to
real
be
news.
confused with the pizza stains I have on most of my jerseys that I own.
That's, you know what? You can make your own while you're at the game. See, if you don't have enough money to pick up the.
So, man, who is this slapdick that you're ogling over here? Who is this jabroni?
So the story is Pettersson was offered 12 mil, and let's be real here. Pettersson's a restricted free agent. Vancouver is in first place. They're not doing this at the trade deadline. This is an off-season conversation, but you guys, and this could be a shorter convo, but I put a question in on Twitter, and I think it was 60-30, or I'm sorry, 70-30, that you guys thankfully picked the right thing. And this will make more sense when I actually say what the Twitter poll was. So I did a Twitter poll, finished 70-30. I said, would you rather have Elias Pettersson, who, and the reason I'm asking, has not signed an offer of $12 million in 8 years with Vancouver. He's not signed it. Doesn't say he doesn't plan to in the future. Doesn't say, he like saw the contract and threw it back at Vancouver. All we know is that $12 million was put in front of him, and Vancouver can't be happy not knowing what the future is for Elias Pettersson, right? That's where the wheels start turning. We've been talking about how Pettersson probably doesn't want to spend the rest of his life in Vancouver. And why would that change just because of one season? He knows the track record of his own team. Maybe he's paying attention to that enormous shot percentage that Vancouver has. And he's been eyeballing Michigan, who there he is wearing U of M stuff. And, kind of thinking about his countrymen from Sweden who've made a real life in the Metro Detroit area. And I'm just saying, guys, the Twitter poll was, would you rather have Elias Pettersson or a top 10 prospect pool? Because God damn it, I will empty that, drain the pool. I'll say it like that, just so that we're not stealing from the guy who's going to be running for president. Drain the pool, ladies and gentlemen. Drain the pool. Get me Elias Pettersson, whatever it takes. I'd include Simon Edmondson in that.
Well, yeah, for Edmondson, for Pettersson, I think you could do Edmondson. But just a couple notes that I do want to touch on. Yes, it's more important to have this proven superstar rather than maybe prospects. Do want to throw that out there. If you're scared of the price, I wouldn't be too concerned about that. I think he does understand his value in this league, and he should get a big number. But it's not necessarily that he's saying no to $12 million. It looks like he's saying, no, I don't care how much you pay me. I fucking hate it here. And he doesn't want to play in Vancouver. Which is understandable. I mean, it's fucking Vancouver.
Yeah, right. Get the fuck out of there.
So, that might be a number he would entertain when he's looking at the, scowled expression of our beloved Steve Yzerman. And saying, hey, we're going to set you up with, future Hall of Famer Patrick Kane, or you can be a future Hall of Famer Lucas Raymond. What do you want to do? So, I mean,
that'd be an insane second line, or even the first line at that point.
Would there
be Pettersson and Raymond?
Would there be some repercussions? Like, maybe you can't afford as much depth. Would it be harder to sign Sprong? Yep, he's probably gone. But prospects and that spot where Sprong would have been for, a top 10 player, top maybe 15 if you want to be a little more conservative. Yeah, you do it because those guys aren't available all the time.
Yep. Oh, there's a few names on here that we can point to that'll give us some space. Decoy thrown out there, future Hall of Famer Andrew Kopp. But yeah, to me, this is a no-brainer. Blake calls me crazy because I threw in Simon Edmondson as a part of this deal. I think Twitter's crazy that they do think that you can just land this with like toss out there one prospect, one guy on the team, and a couple of draft picks, because I think that's what and Bear League Chump, I do like his Twitter. He threw this out there. I just think you guys are crazy if you think that's all it's going to take. I think absolutely you're throwing in a Simon Edvinsson, and you know what, if you look at it and you're like, wow, Vancouver's gonna have a hell of a defensive core moving forward. Cool beans, have fun, because we're gonna have our MVP going forward. I mean, this isn't just a one-sided MVP. This isn't just offense. This is a guy who plays a good two-way game, and something, as a couple of EP40 fans here, we've been studying the last few years. Actually, I didn't even beer league jump throughout. So the trade with Vegas and Buffalo for Jack Eichel, what I showed on YouTube here. You guys might have missed it if you're on the podcast. Peyton Krebs, Alex Tuck, a first-round pick, a second-round pick, brings in Jack Eichel, and a third-round pick comes back. Honestly, holy shit, is that a steal for Vegas? Oh my God. If you think about what Jack Eichel brings to the ice, what a steal. Sure. But yeah, I'm really thinking like you've got to, their jaw has to be.
So yeah, I mean, I think that we would be concerned a little bit about the depth, but I mean, there's a lot of pieces that you could easily kind of move around. God bless you, Ville Husso. This is 2 years now. Half of last season. This season, we can't really count on him. So if you find someone who can eat that 4.75, pretty easy way to make cap space. Matt, what is her name? Emily on ESPN. Thank you. Said the Red Wings are desperately trying to find a home for Justin Hall because it's not on this Red Wings roster. You find a way to get off that contract. That's another spot you're making some money. Gostisbehere, love him. He is getting 4.1 to only play one side of the ice, so that's a spot where you can put in a young guy. That's another $4 million. I don't think the money is really going to be the problem. It's just seducing Vancouver with Red Wing first-round picks and prospects.
Fethdar throws out there, what about Berggren? Yeah, it's going to have to be sure. Berggren and Edvinsson. Yep, they're both in there.
Berggren, Edvinsson first. I mean, if you want a local Detroit comp, it's like the package that you gave up for like Cabrera, where it was like,
oh my God, guys, yeah, that is a good call.
You had to give up like your 2 top prospects, to make that work.
Yeah, and like the Jack Eichel trade too, because I did see that brought up more than once, and I do think it is a great comp to start with. But don't forget, there was fear of like, is this going to work out for Vegas? They were also like going like half a season without him. So it was like they didn't even really get to experience Eichel for a while. And would he ever come back? Like was there that possibility after the surgery? Like Eichel's never going to play again. Granted, they did their research, but there was that risk involved. And you take a look at like the Matthew Tkachuk trade. And, at the time, Tkachuk wasn't playing the way he was now for Florida. Like last year, you're looking at Tkachuk and saying MVP candidate, of course, no brainer. But the year before, he had a great season, but it wasn't like a for sure. Like like this right now, I see Elias Pettersson playing the best of those 3 names.
Sure.
So you're giving up something juicy.
You got to give up something to get something. It's not going to be,
This is close. This is close, Ben. If you want to throw out what Ben just put out there.
Ooh, Kaiser. Yeah, good one. That's what it would take. I mean, it would hurt, right? It would hurt to give up Edvinsson and Casper and the Burger. But I mean, then you're trying to win a Stanley Cup. So are we just trying to, win the best prospect pool for a couple of years in a row, or are we trying to win cups? So last I checked, we wanted to win championships. So that's what it would take. There were some other comments in here I really liked. Sneezy Wheezy, we haven't heard from you in a minute, bud. How you doing? He did have a sobering mention here that Eichel, his price came down because he did have injury concerns. Absolutely. Nothing to ignore.
Oh, there. Yeah, absolutely, Sneezy.
Yeah. Paul Miller, what's up, man? I don't think we heard from you in a minute either, taking a piece of advice out of Stevie's book and trade stealing. I think he's talking about the Vegas Golden Knights shrewdly getting Eichel for, dollars to donuts. That kind of wish the Red Wings had put in a bid.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like we've seen a few of these trades pop up these last few years, and then these teams make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So, and I'm talking about the Eichel, the Kachuk, and it doesn't have to be instant, but it can be. But it's so hard to find these players. And when they're out there, and we can sort of make some fake connected dots about why EP would want to come here, find a way to do it. And I just realized it's 8:00 and I go, I'm a half hour late to put my son to bed.
All right,
So
let me throw a few comments out. Let me throw a few comments out there. Decoy, welcome, missed you, bud, today. Saying we got 93 for 28th overall, 4th rounder in the Kubi. Fethter St. Ghost, he's a defender of God's Despair trades. Has his weaknesses, but our PP could really suffer without him. I know he's really made us like him, but that's going to be a spot like we could have another offensive defenseman, in the minors. So that's $4 million there that he'll probably have to help clean up our cap sheet. Do we have any other good ones? Oh, just the name we haven't heard from in a while. Eidetic, number 1. I don't think we've ever heard from you. How you doing, man? Only move, and this is the most pragmatic, I think, comment we've had the entire episode, Matt. Only move would be for a D-man, most likely on the younger side, that can slide into that second pair. Right-handed, replace one of the bottom 4 D-men. That's probably Steve's scenario.
That's a trade deadline move, right?
That's what Steve's looking at. Matt and I are really, dreaming big. I think this would be Steve's bullseye. So I think you're right on the money there. Decoy, I'm not going to not read this comment. 2 prospects, 1 cup.
That was a good one. That's that might be that's comment of the show, right?
I did it coming in hot though. Just throwing in some more pragmatic comments. Compensate Hall, Petrie, Mata, or God's Despair. Compensation would be at most something like Berggren, one of those aforementioned D-men, and either picks and some second tier dude. And then he's also thrown in a who's who of jabronis. Sending any top prospect D to Vancouver would be a mistake.
Jim, is that from last year? Is that? Just kidding.
I mean, he has had a good season, but my God, it's Pettersson.
Yeah,
it's Pettersson, guys.
It's one of those things. Like we're not messing around here. Like we're not. I'm not talking about doing it, and we love DeBrincat, but we weren't gonna get rid of Edvinsson to bring in DeBrincat. But this is a whole nother level. This is your MVP for the next 8 years. Larkin is our MVP, and don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
You want to put it in perspective. This guy is so good. He would make Larkin your second center.
Yeah.
Your number 2 center would be Dylan Larkin. That's how good he is. So put that in perspective. If you're kind of like on the fence, I like my prospects. Larkin would be your number 2 center. Let that sink in. Also, Decoy, appreciate you appreciating my line about your PP could suffer.
Corey, maybe it's just me. I don't want to bring in a D-man at the trade deadline. If we send one out in a trade, I would want to bring up Big Simon instead. Corey, I'm the closer we get to the trade deadline and who's available, I'm kind of with you. There's not very much that I want to go out of my way to bring in, but I would go ham for Sneaky 40. And of course that's again, I can't say it enough. We know it's coming in the off season. It's not going to happen at Mike and Hockey Gods. There's no way it's going to happen at the trade deadline. Anyway. All right. I got to go. Get in trouble again. Right. Guys, thanks for hanging around. These are always fun conversations. This is a fun time to be a Wings fan. This is the most fun it's been.
Like it.
Since we started the show, hit that like button. Help us get found. I hope you guys have been enjoying some of the highlights we've been throwing on YouTube and Instagram too. We're on Instagram. We should probably make a TikTok, but yeah, follow us on Instagram at Red Wings Rant. We're sharing some of our videos there too. Yeah, guys, we will enjoy the game tomorrow and have a nice weekend, Mike.
Yeah, so big slate of games this week, but yes, as Dan B mentioned, hope you guys do something on trade deadline day. We will be. We're going to be here going right up to the hour. Hopefully talking about how great it is to have EP40 on the first line and Larkin on the second line.
Looking forward to it, guys. All right.
Yeah.
See you later, dude.
Let's go, Red.
That was awesome. Go! Yeah! All right. All right, Jobin. I don't know. I just said dupe. I said see you later, dupe.
Oh, I just yelled over you because I was
Yep.
making nonsense sounds. Let's go, Red Wings! Let's go!
All right. See ya.
Bye.